Welcome to The Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on The Kindness Project, we talk about maternal figures, big ears, and random acts of kindness, part 1. Hi.
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 Hi, Charlotte, how are you?
Not bad, you?
I'm doing all right. Would we like to start The Kindness Project?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, you know what? I'm so tempted to just do like the most boring kindness project ever, where we just talk like that and talk about trains and
Counting trains.
But we're not going to do that because I am joined by the girl who is so maternal. Her nickname at school is Mother. It's Charlotte. Are you a bit embarrassed about that, Charlotte?
Yes.
Are you a bit embarrassed about that? You do realise this goes out in public as well, yeah? You do realise this that actually gets published. Yeah. And we've got a bunch of listeners now. So yeah, people are going to hear this.
Don't call me Mum.
Don't call me Mother, Charlotte Dames.
I'm
Does anybody actually call you? We'll get onto your intro in a minute. But does anybody actually call you Mother, or is it like you are just quite maternal?
Some of them call me Mum.
Mum, right? Any mother?
No.
Any mummy dearest?
No.
Any mother?
No, I've had a couple of mamas.
Mama. I've never heard a 14-year-old girl with the nickname of Mama. Okay.
No, there's a girl in the year above, and we all call her Mother Laura.
Oh, right. So you do. Why?
Not the only one.
Oh, right. So there's a few mothers in the school,
There's
is there?
a few maternal figures.
Mother Laura and your mother Charlotte.
I'm just Mum. I'm just Mum.
Okay. Sorry, your intro was.
The man. I'm joined by the man.
I'm joined by the man.
Oh, we're all fighting with the man. I'm joined by the man whose ears are so wonky, you might as well chop them off like Van Gogh.
Oh, God. My one ear is wonky. This ear, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see what ear I'm pointing to. This ear is a particularly wonky ear. And they're both massive as well. I mean, I've got a decent set of Legos, genuinely. They are so big, there is no excuse for one of them not working particularly well, really. I mean, there should be enough space in those Legos for everything to work. But Legos, you like that?
I love that.
Bit of sort of, I don't know what Legos is. Is it rhyming slang? Is it sort of
Legos?
It's just quite cool. Legos. So let's tell as we normally do, let's tell our listeners who are listening with their Legos, obviously, how they can get in touch. Is that cough ever going to go away?
No!
I don't think it is. Are you listening, listeners? Are you listening with your Legos? Let's check. If we don't get any emails, we know you're not listening with your Legos.
So send us some emails, guys.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Are you?
I'm gonna start with Twitter. @ @HonorKindness.
Are you listening? With your Legos? Sorry, what was the Twitter?
@HonorKindness.
Okay.
The email.
Honor.
@
No H.
The Kindness.
Absolutely, just, yeah. 6 months we've been doing this. Yeah.
And 6 months you've tried to correct me. 6 months.
The website, www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. On the website, just so you know, you can see all the show notes. You can see.
You can listen to them all.
You can see some photos of us. You can do loads of different stuff.
Because this face is fabulous. And I'm not pointing to myself.
Not the Legos, though. The Legos were a bit wonky.
Just cover up the ears.
Just is that now? This is really good for the video, but not good. Well, it was our silent. It was the silent assassin Russell who said, "Yeah, you know what would be really good if we do a video with a podcast." Ain't working, Russ, is it? Really? Let's be honest.
We're just visualising. We're actually talking about
yeah,
we had to.
Exactly. Well, I mean, to be fair though, we did do a viral video question where we just watched the videos and narrated, so it doesn't get any worse than that, to be honest. So would you like to know today's, or do you want to do a jingle?
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Yeah, we get in trouble if we don't mention Facebook. Our editor, producer, and the man so silent. Mimes are scared of him. Russell Dames. I didn't even write that one down. That was just made up. That was all right, wasn't it, for a made up one? Says you never mention the Facebook often enough, so I'm going to do it right now. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com
Ooh, interesting.
/Holokindness. So we are all about the Holokindness, and you can get in touch with us. So, would you like this week's question of the podcast? This week's question of the podcast is... I can't remember. Oh, no. I've remembered. What is the best piece of advice you've ever had? Hello,
advice from you.
And we are joined by a girl who thinks she's a budding YouTube superstar. It's Sophie Dames. How you doing, Soph?
Good.
You doing well? You a bit cold, Soph? You're wearing a blanket.
Batman cape.
So, what's the best piece of advice you think you've ever had?
Probably be from you. Work hard.
Work hard is a good piece of advice. Apart from be a ghost, Soph, what's the best piece of advice you've ever had?
Watch the phone.
Watch the phone is the best piece of advice you've ever had. I don't think that's a particularly good piece of advice.
Who gave you that advice? That's a bit wonky.
Yeah, that is a bit wonky.
Just me, just myself.
Okay, fair enough. So, we want to hear from you.
No.
Oh, no, go on.
Mummy says, can you help me with the dinner?
Mummy says, can you help with the dinner? And you like to help, don't you? You are quite a helpful girl, aren't you? What's the most helpful thing you've done this week?
Save it for the next question of the podcast.
No, we've got another question in the podcast next week. This is called Dead Air, listeners. This isn't normally good podcast etiquette, but...
help Mummy.
You help Mummy with what?
Cooking the dinner.
Ah, right. So you...
Chef.
So you help... So you help Mummy be a chef. That is awesome. So... Why are you doing Batman?
Because she had the blanket like a cape.
Okay.
And it reminded me of Batman and it got stuck in my head.
Fair enough. So that is this week's question of the podcast. What's the best advice you've ever received? Shall we get on, my friend, with Kindness News?
Kindness News. Kindness News. Capturing the moment.
Why is it capturing the moment edition?
Okay. So... this time I'm talking about a woman who took a picture of a man who helped within the Grenfell Tower incident and some of the emergencies in London and Manchester. I'll read you the story. Renowned photographer Rankin captured the extraordinary
Rankin, yeah?
Yeah.
He's a famous photographer, isn't he, Rankin? Yeah.
And the extraordinary kindness shown by a British Red Cross volunteer from Warrington, who helped in last year's emergencies in London and Manchester.
Okay.
The UK terror attacks and Grenfell Tower fire caused significant loss of life and led to one of the largest humanitarian responses by the British and Red Cross here in the UK since World War II. In a unique photo shoot with Rankin, released ahead of the Red Cross Week, the charity paid tribute to some of the remarkable acts of kindness shown by volunteers who had helped in these times of crisis. Julia Reason, 51, from Warrington, who features in the photo shoot, was one of more than 1,000 British Red Cross volunteers who worked alongside the emergency services in solidarity with the local community, supporting the aftermath of the UK terror attacks and the Grenfell Tower fire last summer.
Yeah.
The characterful photos are being released ahead of Red Cross Week, when thousands of people across the UK and beyond will be carrying out their own small acts of kindness in their community. Julia has been a volunteer with the British Red Cross for more than 8 years. Following the Manchester Arena attack, Julia was deployed to Oldham Hospital to provide quiet space for hospital staff who need respite. She also provided emotional support to people at the memorial that took place in memory of the victims in the city centre. She said, "I first heard about the Manchester Arena attack whilst I was watching TV. When something terrible like that happens, especially when it's close to home, you just want to do anything you can to help. I know that my experience as a British Red Cross volunteer would help make a difference to those caught in the blast." At the memorial, there were lots of tears and hugs, but no speaking. All you could hear was the rain until the crowd began to link arms and started singing Oasis's "Don't Look Back" in anger.
Oh,
Our shifts were supposed to be 4 hours, but we stayed for 8. We didn't want to leave. We wanted to stay and support people. Julia also volunteered at the One Love Manchester concert, where the atmosphere was emotionally charged and feelings ranged from elation to trauma. She joined in the celebrations of strength and unity of the city while also providing support to those who needed it. 2 weeks later, Julia travelled to London to support the families who had been affected by the tragic fire at Grenfell Tower. She said, "I had never been on a tube in my life, and as I came out the station, I saw photos of missing people, which just broke my heart. The events of last year have had a lasting impact on me, but as a volunteer for the British Red Cross, we're privileged to be able to help people when they need it most and support them through emergencies like this." Photographer Rankin said, "Like everyone, I was horrified by the incidents that happened last summer and terrible loss of life it caused. The power of community really shone through, and the people in these images worked day and night alongside the emergency services, helping people cope with what happened. Their incredible compassion and support made a difference to so many people in their darkest hour. The British Red Cross is a movement that connects human kindness with human kindness."
Yeah, there's an office in London near when I head into London to see clients or whatever. There's a Red Cross office near the office near my office, and they've got a big Red Cross just with the words kindness on, because what they do is support people in a time of desperate need, and certainly the Grenfell Tower incident and after the Ariana Grande concert, it was definitely needed, and just being one of the people who could support and help sounds like an awesome thing to me. What was the photo? Do we know? What was the photo ranking? Can we put it on the website on the Kindness Project show notes? Do you think?
Yeah, I think we could find them and put them on there. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we'll put a link to the photos that got taken of the Red Cross volunteers on the Kindness Project website, so you can take a look. So thanks for that, and we'll see you next week on Kindness News. So, Charlotte, for this week's story of kindness, I'm going to talk to you about a little book I bought. It's called Random Acts of Kindness, 365 Ways to Make the World a Nicer Place.
Don't tell me you're going to list all 360.
No, I'm only going to list 362. Is that all right?
Such an odd number to go down to.
I know. It's by a guy called Danny Wallace, and Danny Wallace has written a bunch of really good books, including ones where he created a cult and started his own country. So he likes to write about pretty quirky but pretty cool stuff. He's a really good writer, Danny Wallace. And I wanted to share with you some of the things that we're gonna do as out of Danny Wallace's book. So I'm gonna pick a random page, and we'll see what ones you fancy doing from that random page. You ready? Okay. So you stop.
Stop.
Okay. As a random act of kindness, this is from a bloke called Worm. I don't know, that's quite a weird name, Worm, from Edinburgh. As a random act of kindness, I wander around Edinburgh giving bottles of cheap wine to the bagpipers you get on almost every street corner. Not only does it make the piper very happy, but it also gives us locals a rest from the constant wailing. Bagpipes are awful, aren't they? I mean, genuinely, that.
It's not awful for a bagpipe player.
Well, obviously, they need to keep themselves alcoholically medicated to suffer the bagpipes. I'm not going to go around the streets of London giving away wine, but I'll tell you what might be worth doing, and we'll do this over the next couple of weeks.
Giving away food?
Food and water. We did food before, but I reckon we buy a crate of waters and go into town and just give them away. What do you reckon? Sounds good. Are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Right, let's do it. Give a pot plant to a bus driver. It will brighten up their dashboard. What happens if Well, number one, we're not going to give away pot plants. There's only one thing we can give away, right, Charlotte?
Cactuses?
We've got a little WhatsApp group called the Cactus
Appreciation
the
Society.
Cacti Appreciation Society, and we just post pictures of cacti, don't we? So it's good fun. Maybe we give cacti to bus drivers, but is it not dangerous to do that?
Yeah.
Is it or not?
They fall on their face if they stop too quickly.
Yeah, don't know. Let's give another one a go. You ready? Okay. Dress up as a wizard for a mate who's reading Harry Potter. Now, bear in mind, this book was written 13 years ago. There is acts of kindness in it that talk about fax machines and Walkmans and stuff like that. So that might be originally reading Harry Potter, but I think everybody's read Harry Potter by now.
Or watch the movies.
How about this one? Buy popcorn for a stranger at the cinema. What do you think of that one?
I bet it's like enough money to the cinema for my own popcorn.
I know. I like that idea. Do you want to go?
Okay, you're going to have to tell me when to stop.
What? What's with the sound effects?
Making it more interesting. The page flicking wasn't working for
All
me.
right, okay, go on then. Stop. What we got?
Medal with a colleague's screensaver. Put a lovely message on there for them, such as "I love you and I always will." It's best not to do this if you have a prison record for stalking.
Yeah, if you're a stalker, putting "I love you" surreptitiously on a colleague's computers, not a good move. And perhaps maybe replace "I love you" with "you're a bit awesome." Something that might be less construed as weird. You gonna give it another go?
Yeah, I'm going to make the sound effect.
Go on it. Stop.
Wrap a pound coin in aluminium foil and give it to one of those street artists who dress up all in silver and stand very still. It will show them you appreciate their art. You can laugh about it with your friends later.
Now I don't get that one. I read that one and I was a bit. I'm not convinced. I'd wrap it in aluminium foil. Why not just give them the quid?
Don't know. Especially if it's one of those people who paints themselves entirely goals.
Yeah. If it was a silver street artist, you might want to do that. I'm going to give it a go now. You ready? If you're making the sound effects, you can't say stop, can you?
Oh, shut up. I'll just stop making
I'm
the
not
sound
doing the
effects.
sound effects. I'm not going to. Right, yeah, I'll be doing it.
Yes.
Go on and go.
Stop.
Okay, so there's a few on here, and I want to see. So, right, so far we've decided we're going to do the water one. Mm-hmm. What I want to do one from this page, right? So on this couple of pages that I'm looking at, I've got send a present to your postman.
Do we know where our postman lives?
No, but you could give him a present as he comes to deliver something for you.
Suppose.
Pump up somebody's bicycle tyres.
I don't even know how to pump up my own bicycle tyres. I don't even know if I have a bicycle.
Whistle while you work, unless you're asked not to. Now, I know Sophie at the minute is trying to learn to whistle, isn't she? Now, I know you can whistle. I can whistle. But it doesn't say annoy the podcast listeners by whistling. It says whistle while you work.
Oh, yeah. Imagine me in the middle of my exams. So I can't do it now. I've lost.
Okay, pop a sugar cube next to an ant's nest. I'm not really overly bothered about being kind to ants, but it might work. It might work.
The entomologist might thank you for that.
I
think that's the right one.
Now I like this one. Take some toys to a maternity ward and tell them to give them to whoever needs them.
Yeah,
now
that's a good one.
that is something we can definitely do because we've got loads of toys. They're creating a bit of a clutter at the minute.
Yes.
So should we do that one from that page?
Yes.
However, the next one is cactus related. So you might want to do this one. Give a big man a small cactus. Now you did this the other day, didn't you?
Who
You gave me a small cactus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then leave a small tip out in an envelope marked Paperboy. Again, written 13 years ago when Paperboys were...
Do it for the milkman now.
We don't even get a milk delivered
I know,
anymore.
I know people who do get milk delivered.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Frankie, she gets some milk delivered.
Frankie gets some milk delivered, does she? Right, okay. Is she living in 1982? Right, one more go. So we've decided we're going to do the water one, and we're going to take some toys to a maternity ward, yeah? Okay, cool. Next.
Stop. Forgot about the sound effect there.
Oh, I like this one. If you see someone sitting on their own during a pub quiz, invite them to your team. I quite like that.
Pub quizzes anymore.
No, people still do pub quizzes. If your office is planning a secret Santa and you've got to spend £10, spend 11. What a rebel!
Revelation.
Have you ever done a secret Santa?
Oh yeah, I did one at school.
Did you? How'd it go?
I gave them a Terry's chocolate orange.
Oh, pushing the boat out, Terry's chocolate orange. And the book. What did you get?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I think it was a book.
Not a Terry's chocolate orange with the book.
Well, no, I put the Terry's chocolate orange in the bag because you guys were always saying to me you can't have a Christmas without Terry's chocolate orange.
I think you can't have Christmas without 3 different types of chocolate, and Terry's chocolate orange isn't one of them. I think the 3 are After Eights, Ferrero Rocher, and Celebrations. I think they are.
Or have at least one of those. Like
Exactly. Compliment a gay man on his choice of life partner.
Yeah.
What do you think? Good choice, mate. Good choice.
Good
He
choice.
seems like a good fella. Tell a sweaty woman she has a healthy glow. I'm not going to do that, Danny Wallace. I'm not wandering around trying to find a sweaty woman to...
Did you see the one in there that said stand outside of Weight Watchers and tell the women they look like?
I'd get in trouble for that. On a sunny day, give somebody a spare pair of shades. Now, I really like this one because I'm always losing my sunglasses.
And I never have sunglasses.
So maybe we should buy 2 or 3 cheap pairs and just say, look, if you forgot your glasses, would you like a pair? I quite like that idea. Okay, so what are your let's do it one more time. Are you ready?
Stop.
Okay. Buy a scratch card and hand it to a stranger. I'm not doing that. I don't like scratch cards. I think they're a waste of money. So buying it and handing it to a stranger, I'm not going to go for. However, buy an unpopular CD single just
popular music though.
just to support the artist. Because I tell you what, I wrote a really unpopular book on pensions once, and if somebody it was that good.
And the dedications page.
It was dedicated to you. I hope you read the dedications page. But literally, if somebody would like, as an act of kindness to me, if somebody would like to go and buy my book, available in no good bookshops,
And then rave about it.
and then give me a review, that would be great. We've now got more positive reviews for the podcast than we have for the book. I don't know what that... It's all you, Charlotte. You're all the positive reviews. And if you can't make it to a gig, don't waste the ticket. Give it to a stranger. I quite like that one. So we're going to do a few more of these next week, but I think we've decided on 2 main ones: the giving out water, and we're going to take some toys to a maternity ward. How does that sound?
Sounds fun.
Awesome.
'Tis the end of another podcast.
Oh no, the end.
The end.
The end is nigh,
The end is nigh.
but it's never the end.
It's never the end. No.
It's near the end.
the pre-end.
It's the pre-end. It's like the after party hasn't finished yet, but this is the after. This is the podcast after party, because we haven't done the question. Oh, sorry, you wanted to do the jingle, didn't you? Sorry.
It's less of a jingle and more of a last week, this week, question of the podcast.
Well, you know what we need to do? We need to get the silent assassin Russell Dames to do some work on a proper jingle. Because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and they've got actual jingles. So as opposed to somebody just going or just singing every time. Yeah. So maybe now 20 odd episodes in, we could actually push a proper set of jingles.
Oh.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I think
save
that'd be
the voice.
awesome. That'd be awesome. I'll miss the cough, obviously. I'll miss.
still doing the cough.
Oh, you're still doing the cough. But maybe we can get some proper jingles done. However, we need to talk about questions of the podcast, because the one this week was not one of our popular ones, to be honest.
Was it not?
No. It was, what's the strangest dream you've ever had? And I've got a feeling that people looked at that and went, I'm definitely not sharing my strangest dream only for it to be published on a public podcast.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. But we did have a couple of answers.
Yes.
Mostly slagging off my driving, having a go at my driving. So let me explain how, right? So the first one was from at Langcat Mike on Twitter, and he went, the one with snip Langcat lawyers. I don't think his employer wanted for him to share the strangest dream he's ever had, so he decided not to. So I went back to him and went, somebody's got the scissors out to snip that. And he did once have a nightmare about the Scissor Sisters. Do you know who the Scissor Sisters are?
No.
They were noughties, like disco style group. They were quite good.
Hey.
They were quite good. And then that was our one comment. And then let me tell a story. Okay, let me tell a story. I once went to, when you were little, I once went to America.
Yes.
And I was in Los Angeles. And I was the designated driver, so I was the only one
Oh, God.
who could drive. So got to LAX, got to the airport, got to the car rental place, and everybody decided that they wanted to get this big American 4x4. Now, you know what kind of driver I am, Charlotte. Do you want to describe it?
I can use it in 2 words.
Go on.
Very bad.
Okay. I'm not the worst driver in the world, but I'm not the best driver in the world. So anyway, got this car that was massive. In LA, it's like 6 lanes of traffic, quite hard to drive at the best of times. And we got a GPS, American GPS, because I didn't know where it was going. So I'm on this big 6 lane of this big freeway with 6 lanes of traffic.
Wow.
People are hooting at me because I'm weaving in and out and making mistakes and stuff like that. And then suddenly my GPS turns around and says, at the next turning, do a left right. Now, I don't know what a left right is when a GPS says that. And literally every time I had to make a turn, it just gave the most confusing answer.
It's America. Everything's confusing.
At the minute, everything is confusing. This was when did I go? It was before Obama was in power. So it's
like what?
George W. Bush was the president.
Well over 8 years ago.
And it was over 8 years ago, and nobody had heard. Like, if you would have said to somebody when I was in America at that particular time, by the way, in a few years' time, Trump's going to be president, they would have laughed, fallen over, stood up, walked off, come back, laughed again, and just it wouldn't have happened. So yeah, that was the period. So John, friend of the show, John Cooks commented, I once had a nightmare where I was being driven across 3 lanes of a 7-lane freeway in LA with a sat-nav that had a mind of its own.
Oops, no, that was reality.
True story. So he just went, oh, hang on, that was real. So literally my driving is the stuff of nightmares. That's what it is. And then Mark's made a comment on my driving where he just said, I had a very similar dream to John. I was once being driven to Heathrow Airport by someone and they tried to take a junction and we nearly ended up in a field. Another true story about my driving. So it's the reason that I'm not the designated driver in our family. Although I did get you to Wales and back safely last weekend, didn't I?
We got lost on the border of Wales.
We did. It's a confusing place, Wales. And Nigel Mathers, who just loves to give us a friend of the show, by the way, show, who loves to give us a complicated answer, says, I've not yet had my strangest dream, ever, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. I expect it will be really strange indeed, and probably quite funny. But then again, it could start off being strange, and then funny, but then it could change to scary, or even sexy. Sexy will be better, of course. Let's hope it's tonight or tomorrow, assuming it's the strange, funny, sexy one. I don't know what's going on.
Like the first bit sounded like it came out of Dr. Seuss book or something, and then it was like, let's hope it's a sex.
I mean, Nigel is quite a funny guy, but he did sound like that American GPS there, where he just couldn't work out where he wanted to go. But I really enjoyed that response. Thanks, Nigel. I appreciate that. And friend of the show, Darren Weeks gave us our story of kindness this week.
Yeah.
And he said, a wonderful act of kindness. Kin left his phone on the bus on the way to Lee Valley, and an extremely kind person found it. It had his debit card, and he went out of his way to take the phone and card to the bank. Kin was incredibly relieved and grateful. So goes to show there are awesome people out there who are fully prepared, who are prepared to do good stuff for people they don't even know. So that's great.
Yup.
And that's definitely it. Listeners,
the after party is over.
It's time to go home, get your coats, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.